Hello and welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast. Each week, our program is brought to you by our friends at Harper's Tree and Stump Removal. If you have any tree trimming, tree removal, or stump removal needs, Harper's Tree and Stump Removal has you covered. They can haul rock and sand, they do driveway work, and can now do horizontal grindings of large wood debris piles. Give Keith a call at 229-314-2048 or at 229-938-2412. And a special this month for the next 30 days. If you will mention the Integrity Sports Podcast, Harper's Tree and Stump Removal will give you a 10% discount off of your estimate. Harper's Tree and Stump Removal, they're the proud premier sponsor of the Integrity Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast, covering local sports in the Southwest Georgia area, creating content that is factual, positive, and informative, promoting efforts by athletes, coaches, and sports administrators. Now, here's your host, Tim Estes.
Thank you, Thurston, and welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast. Our program is available each week on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, and several other social media platforms. This program is really taking off as we're having over 3,000 views a week for the past 14 consecutive shows. Remember to like and share this video with your friends. And if you're watching us today on YouTube, make sure and hit the subscribe button and help us reach the 1,000 subscriber mark. We've got a fun show lined up for you today as several of our former Americus Travelers players who are now playing college baseball are joining us. We have Chase Ledger and Perry Usher from Albany State University, as well as Landon Kite, Owen Lamb, and Dylan Davis, who are all playing at ABAC. Guys, I'm looking forward to this. Thanks for joining me today.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to try something real quick before we get started with all these questions, just to see if you remember it. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Let's go.
There we go. Okay. So that was one of our former travelers things that we used to do. And hey, they still remember it. So if I didn't teach you anything, at least we remember that, right? All right, let's get started with this. I think all of you, except for maybe Perry, have gone through multiple college baseball seasons. And Perry, you've now gone through the fall season and now into the spring. So none of you are really spring chickens anymore. But guys, what I'd like to know is, do you feel more knowledgeable about the game than you did when you entered college baseball? Chase, Perry, let's start with you.
I'll start off, not specifically with baseball, more knowledgeable. You play enough games and you learn a lot about the game. But when I got to college, one of the biggest things I learned is to make it through a whole entire season, you've got to know how to eat and sleep and train, and how to track your weight. And that was one of the things Coach Hemmings really harped on me last year because, I dealt with an injury and I watched, I got to watch the guys and I learned from them and I wasn't playing. So the only thing I could do was sit around and learn. And the biggest thing I learned probably my first year was how to eat and sleep and take care of my body to make it through a season.
Perry, how about you?
Oh, yes, sir. I agree with Chase. I mean, the preparing part, you got to do a lot more preparing now than we used to. You don't just get out of school at 3 o'clock and go down to the field and start the game. I mean, there's a lot more preparing that goes into it. But I definitely feel more knowledgeable of the game just through, the older guys with the more experience. I mean, we got guys on our team who've been playing in college for 5 years. And I just try to take away and learn from them every day. And so is our coach. I mean, our coach played in the minors. I mean, he was really good, and he's got a lot of experience. So it's just good to be around people with a lot of experience.
Absolutely. All right, guys, at ABAC, what about you? Do you feel more knowledgeable now than you did when you entered college baseball?
Yes, sir. I'd say so. Kind of like what Perry said, just being able to be around the group of guys with the same work ethic and everything, and you all just get to learn little bits and pieces from everybody. Helps you with the game, keeps you more knowledgeable for sure.
Yeah, no, really the big difference between high school and now and travel ball is just the competition. I mean, people take way better at bats. You got when I'm on the mound, you know, you're not necessarily thinking about it, but you got to know what you can throw and what you can't throw. because, people at this level, they don't miss. There's certain
Absolutely. Dylan, what about you?
Yes, sir. More things go into it, especially off of the field. The small things like picking up the weights, what Chase said, eating right and sleeping good. That the little things are what really helped us out.
And listen, folks, if you knew Dylan Davis in high school and you see him now, he's got those jacked up arms. We were talking before we went on the air tonight, and his first at bat this year was a 3-run bomb, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Dylan?
Yes, sir.
So congratulations on that. I want to start this next question with you ABAC guys. When you think back to your high school days, you got Owen that played at Sly, Landon was at Fitzgerald, Dylan was at Crisp County. So think back to that time in high school and couple that with the summers that you spent with the Americus Travelers. Do you feel like you were prepared for college baseball when you got there?
I believe so. I feel like our whole life we've been kind of easing into it. You start playing more and more as you get older, start taking the game more seriously, looking for the as me, like I've gotten to where I wanted to be as far as like to be able to play in college, and now I'm just like perfecting the craft. But I would say that just like slowly easing into the harder and harder competition, it kind of gets you ready for the guys that you're going to see on the college level.
Yeah, high school ball, summer ball, travel, it was just a lot of fun. And it made this a lot easier because, there are times at this level where it's not a lot of fun. And, it's a lot of work. But, you remember where you came from. You remember the stuff you did when you were little, whether you were 4 years old, 16-year-old, and now, I'm 20 years old now. But it always comes down to fun. Every time we're on the diamond, we're having fun. And that's just really what it's about.
Yeah, going back to what Landon said, it's just a game. At the end of the day, you just need to have fun and not take – I'm not saying necessarily not take it serious, but not to get down in the dumps and let that show out on the field. You strike out or something, you make a bad pitch. That inning, you flush it and you just go back in there and have fun.
Absolutely. Chase, let's send it to you and Perry. Both of you guys played at Southland Academy and with the Travelers in the summer. Were you prepared when you got to Albany State?
I would say I was. I got sprung into a position my 8th grade year playing on high school. I think I had to mature really, really fast. And it didn't take – I would say I was prepared just from the pure amount of games we played, summer ball, high school ball, all the way back to rec ball. I mean, you're prepared. It's just a baseball. It's just a game, really. I had not really convinced myself that I could hang, though, with college guys. We went up and played a tournament. It was a PBR tournament at Lake Point, and we played Team Georgia. And they had 7 D1 guys, and I wound up going that whole game. We wound up losing that game. We made an error right there and late. It cost us. But after that game, I really knew that playing college baseball was something that I was going to be able to do.
And I think summer ball really helped me just with facing a lot of velocity, facing a lot of high competition, college level, most of it college level competition. I think that really helped me. And school ball was more of like playing in an organized setting, playing more of organized baseball, more like college would be, playing a 3-game series, being able to go out there and play 3 games in 2 days, because that's what we're going to be doing on the weekend here. And I think it prepared me very well, both summer ball and school ball.
We are talking with Landon Kite, Owen Lamb, and Dylan Davis from down at ABAC, as well as Chase Ledger and Perry Usher at Albany State. All of these guys played with the Americus Travelers and played high school ball here in Southwest Georgia. Our show each week is brought to you in part by our friends at One Digital Solutions. They are a steward for business growth and personal development. They provide a tech-enabled solution that provides a work-life balance in things like human resource management, employee benefits, and financial services. They really are everything all in one. They're One Digital. Give Will Peterson a call today at 229-347-6289 and let One Digital begin helping you today. Guys, we've got a lot of dads that watch this show. Dads that have kids that range in age probably from 5-year-old T-ball all the way up to your high school age kids. So know that you're talking to those dads and those kids today. What advice could you give them in preparing their kids for the next level, that not necessarily college baseball. If they're a high school kid, yes. But what would you tell a dad or a kid as they prepare to move to the next level, whatever level that is?
I would say, first of all, just eat a lot and gain a lot of weight, because the problem nowadays is just a lot of kids want to go to that next level, but they're just too small. And I think that's a really big part of it. I think you need to train for speed and strength. You need to be big and fast. And a lot of misconception nowadays is you need to hit under the ball to get it out of this ballpark. And it's just, when you're not Aaron Judge, it's hard to do that. So I would say just hit down on the ball and try to backspin balls out of the ballpark instead of lifting them. And I would say just play a lot of baseball. Like, just play a lot, but don't burn yourself out. I think that would be the main thing.
And piggybacking off of what he said, if I had to tell a dad what to do, with his kid, if he came to, the first thing I would tell him is to let him play as many sports as he wants to play. Don't make him just play baseball, or if it's just football, don't make him just play football, or if it's chess, don't make him just play chess. Another thing I would tell him is, the world thinks today that everything's good and everybody should get a trophy and all this. If I'm a dad, I'm going to be hard on my kid, because when you get to college baseball, it's not easy. I think it's going to be good job, you did great today. It's not that. And the last thing I would tell them, if your kid wants extra work, to get them the extra work.
Good advice. ABAC guys, what about y'all?
I would say, everybody falls in love with baseball because it is a fun game, and just make sure that the kid's still having fun while they're playing the game, but also wanting to get better. Whenever somebody gets burnt out and quits loving the game, that's when their interest and their work ethic and everything just falls right out of the sport. So I would just make sure, just stay in touch with the kid, make sure the kid still actually loves the game and he's still wanting to get better.
Yeah,
good.
I do. I started doing something recently, and I give pitching lessons to a lot of kids here at 5-Star in Tipton. And I would say the biggest thing is encouragement. These kids want to be out here. They want to do it. That's half the reason why they come to me, is they want to do it. But the big part of it is you got to make sure they're having fun. You can't put too much pressure on them. It just goes down to encouragement. The biggest thing when kids come to me is I just put it in their brain that they can be successful at what they do.
Yeah. And
that's just a big part of it. For me personally, that was a big thing to me. Like, my parents never told me that I did bad. They told me that I could do better. And
right.
So encouragement is definitely the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, and going off of what Landon said, especially with the dads, I went to some of my high school games this year, and I could hear the dads in the back, and they'll pull their kids up to the fence and just start cussing them out and stuff. And you can see the kids get down, and it shows on the field. The game is theirs. Don't try to change anything at the game, and definitely don't discourage them by cussing them out or anything like that. That just gets into their head, and that does not help them out. And what I would say for the kids is that doing the small things really matters. By picking up, a piece of trash on the field, by taking that extra ground ball or extra swing. The small things will really help you out to be successful, and the coaches do notice that. And that's all I have to say for that.
That's some good advice from some guys that are currently playing college baseball. So, dads, if you're listening to that, you may want to heed that. All of these guys played in the summer with me for many years with the Americus Travelers. And, man, we had such a fun group. Not just our players, but the parents really became good friends. And they developed a lot of friendships, many of which still exist today, even though these guys are in different places. What I'd like to do now, and we'll start with the ABAC guys, give me a quick memory of some of your favorite moments during those summers you were with the Americus Travelers.
For me, it would definitely be at the hotel. Whether it's in the pool at night or in the lobby playing cards, it was definitely something off the field. All the parents and stuff like that, people who come watch the games, they remember the stuff that happens on the field. But I definitely feel like for us, it was definitely the stuff that happened off the field.
I remember a lot of the off the field stuff. That's good. That's good, Landon. What about you, Dylan?
I remember one time we were in the hotel lobby and this man came in and he was just acting kind of crazy and everything, and his name was Stan, and we call him Stan the Man. We all wrote that on our hat, and I still write it on my hat today.
Owen, what about you? What's your memory?
We'd always at the end of the year, most of the time we'd end up playing somewhere like near the beach or a vacation spot. And I just remember everybody going down, like we'd all meet up at one public beach access and hang out and play in the ocean or whatever, hang out on the beach, just have a good day in the sand and all. Yes, sir.
All right, let's throw it over to the Albany State guys. Give me a memory that you have from Travelers baseball.
I would say one of my more memorable ones was we were playing a team down in Panama City, and I think maybe you went out to argue a call is what it was, and one of the parents stood up, I think, and called you a bus driver.
Yep.
And I think Trip Thomas's dad, Mr. Joe, I think he might have just stood up. And I think that kind of
he took offense to that, didn't he?
I think he did. I think he quieted everybody down over there in the opposing dugout and in the stands. I remember that one pretty good.
Yeah. What about you, Perry?
I think for me was going to Port St. Lucie, Florida that last time, and going to the Mets spring training facility, and that was just a really good experience. It was very cool to see like big time baseball and where they play, and I just thought it was a very cool experience for that last time.
Well, I wanted to ask that question of you guys right after the question about having advice for dads, because I hoped, and we hadn't prepared this, I hoped that your answers would be exactly what they were. Because what I think dads and moms that need to understand is you guys played at a really high level in the summer, several national championships to your credit. But what you remember most are the relationships, not necessarily everything that happened on the field, but what, like Dylan said, what happens off the field with the relationships that you build. So I think parents really need to understand that and get behind that with their kids. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends at Carter's Fried Chicken. They're located at 206 Tripp Street. They offer breakfast, lunch, and supper. Owner Mike Shaddles and his staff support all of our local area teams, and they've been feeding Southwest Georgia for more than 30 years. They offer daily lunch specials, chicken, pork chops, and vegetables, all at an affordable price. Carter's Fried Chicken is proud to be a 2025 sponsor of the Integrity Sports Podcast. Let's talk about where each of you are at right now in terms of your career on the field and in the classroom. Let's start with Chase and Perry. Tell me what position you're playing, a little bit about your team, and what your plans are after baseball.
You want to go first? I'll go first. So I'm a freshman here at ASU, and right now I'm just doing anything I can to get on the field. I haven't solidified myself to one position. I'm trying to be like a Swiss Army knife right now and play anywhere I can, infield, outfield, DH, pinch runner, really anything, just to get on the field and help our team win. And right now, my major is human health and performance, and I'm trying to get into nursing school. I want to become a nurse, and I want to travel. I want to be a traveling nurse.
Awesome. Chase, what about you?
I'm a redshirt freshman. I took my medical redshirt last year. I had surgery on my right elbow to move the nerve that goes over the ligament that, everybody knows the word Tommy John. The ligament that you get Tommy John on, that was the nerve they had to move. So I dealt with that all summer and all fall this year, and I finally feel strong again coming back. Our team this year, we're looking to win. Hopefully, we're going to run out 40 games and hopefully sweep our conference tournament and finally make a regional this year. And my future plans, I'm a business management major, and hopefully one day I can be selling some hunting land out in Iowa or something.
That would be awesome. All right, you A-back guys, fill me in.
So I'm a redshirt freshman on the field, and I'm a pitcher. So I'm a PO, and as of right now, I've been relieving a good bit. We got 3 good starters, so we've just been backing them guys up. In the classroom, I'm a turf major, turf grass major, and after I graduate, I'd like to get out on my own business, do something like commercial spraying residential spray and stuff along those lines.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm a true sophomore this year, and I'm a business major. Even though I really don't have a clue what I want to do, everybody else has it figured out. I'm one of those guys. But yeah, no, we're looking to make a statement this year in NAIA. It's our first year in the conference. We were in JUCO last year. We got bumped up. We're 5-2 right now. We're all right. We're doing all right for ourselves, but we're looking to do a little more, dig ourselves in the ground, and make a statement this first year.
Landon, I'm glad you mentioned that. I forgot to mention that. ABAC, for, I guess, the life of the school, had been a junior college, and this is your first full year as a 4-year college in the NAIA. And if I'm not mistaken, y'all are a part now of the Southern States Conference. Is that right? All right. Dylan, tell me about you.
I'm a redshirt freshman, and I'm battling out center field and also just anywhere in the outfield. But right now I'm in the center fielder and battling out for a spot. But yeah, what Landon was saying, we're here to prove that we're meant to be here, and we're the backs against the wall against everybody against us because they got us ranked real low, and we take that as disrespect because we think we're one of the top teams. So we got a lot to prove, and we're going to do it. And after college, I'm probably going to go to Ohio and weld on the pipeline.
Wow, that's cool. Good to hear that. All these guys have good plans. Folks, listen, all of these guys have put in hours and hours of work to get to this point. I end every show by allowing our guests to tell us about the people behind the scenes in their lives that have been a source of encouragement to them. Chase and Perry, who are those folks in your lives?
I would say mainly, obviously, are my parents. You know, they spent a lot of time and money into get me to where I am now, not only as a baseball player, but, you know, really raising me the right way and teaching me how to do things right. Another thing is, you know, I mean, all of my grandparents, you know, if you ever went to a game, you knew who Papa and Ellen were. They were at almost anything, and especially my little brother, who really followed me anywhere I went, any baseball game. It didn't matter where we were. He loved being there.
So your little brother, Cade, I'm going to ask Owen if he remembers this and put him on the spot. What did we call Cade?
Cheese dog.
Cheese dog. Okay. Perry, what about you?
Yes, sir. I mean, just mainly my family and my big daddy, Eddie Ward, which everybody in town probably knows. He coached GSW softball for many, many years. And he's basically my mentor, like my hero. Like anytime I have a question about baseball or really just life in general, I come to him, and he's been big for me. And my mom, my grandma Bibi, and my Aunt Christy, they're kind of like my support system when I'm down. They always are cheering me up, and in their eyes, I do no wrong, but we know that's not true. And lastly, I would say my dad, because he wasn't really athletic, and he doesn't know much about the game. He just knows from watching me growing up and everything, but he's a good source of, like, when I want to get my mind off of baseball, and we can talk about anything else and other things that I'm interested in. And it's good to have that support system in a diverse way, because they all play different roles.
Absolutely. We're going to switch down to ABAC now and talk to these guys. Owen, we'll start with you. Tell me about your support system.
Yes, sir. So just all my loved ones, they parents, everybody, they always make sure they're there to help, and they support me very well. And just one section, there'll be 10 chairs lined up with my whole family sitting there watching, even if I'm not playing or if I'm playing in the game or not. Yes, sir. But my older sister, she in her friend group, there's a lot of guys that are pretty good at baseball, and most of them went and played baseball at the next level. And I've watched them since I was younger, and they might have not known it, but I was watching them and just seeing what they were doing. And Reed Ragsdale, Will Berry, they both helped me a lot. Will used to help me hit, and Reed, he helped coach with the Travelers, and he kind of just, you know, they both showed me what college baseball and how you get there and what it should look like.
Landon, Dylan, what about y'all?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's family. You know, my mom and dad, they did their very best. They made sure I got everywhere on time. I had everything. And, you know, and even past baseball, they have taught me, probably everything I know, pretty close to it. And also my sister. My sister was really good at softball. She always played softball, and that's really who I looked up to when I was 8, when I was a little kid, because she was always doing it and she was good at it. And I really just wanted to be like her. I wanted to be good at it too.
Dylan, I know you had a sister that was pretty good in softball too. Tell us about your family.
Well, number one is going to be my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. By reading Scripture, He helps me get through my the thickest part of my life. But secondly, it would definitely be my mom with a positive attitude, and she just always being there behind my back and helped me keep my head up. But last but not least is definitely my dad. Even at 53, he's still shooting that ball when I ask him to hit BP with me and everything, and just my grandparents and everything like that.
We have been talking to some former Americus Travelers players who are now playing college baseball. I want to take this final pause and thank Marty McDonald State Farm Insurance. They are located at 925 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Americus. Drop by and see Marty, Mary Lynn, or any of their fine staff and let them discuss your insurance needs with you. You can reach them at 928-3686 or look them up on Facebook. They can even do the discount double check to ensure that you're receiving all of the savings that are available to you. Thanks again to Marty McDonald for sponsoring this segment of the Integrity Sports Podcast. And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. One of the things that I really appreciate about this group of people, and really most of the folks that ever came through the Travelers program, every time I see you 5 guys or any of your family, whether that's in town or at a ball game, it's like we didn't skip a beat. We really became close during those years, and I'm really proud of what all of you have accomplished. I like the fact that all of you have stayed close to your families, and I think that's something that these young kids that watch this need to know. Your family is going to be your support network at the end of the day, and you need to thank them for being there for you. Guys, this has been a lot of fun. I appreciate you doing this. We're going to follow you this year. Maybe we can come back and do this again next year and see where you've gone from year to year. But thanks for joining me tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks for having us.
And we want to thank you for making the Integrity Sports Podcast a part of your weekly routine. Thanks again to our sponsors, Harper's Tree and Stump Removal, One Digital Solutions, Carter's Fried Chicken, and Marty McDonald State Farm Insurance. Also want to remind you, if you need any tree work done for the next 30 days, Harper's Tree and Stump Removal will give you a 10% discount if you mention the Integrity Sports Podcast. For all of these guys, for Chase Ledger and Perry Usher down at Albany State, for Owen Lamb, Landon Kite, and Dylan Davis down at ABAC, I'm your host, Tim Estes. Thanks for watching. So long, everyone.